Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me. How are you all doing? I hope you can hear me okay, see me okay. I do live streams so infrequently these days that I keep forgetting how to set these things up, and it's taken me nearly an hour just to get this working, I think. So let me know if it is working, if you can see and hear me. I can see people in the chat saying hello to everybody who's in the chat so far. Good to see you all here. I do realise that there is another similar live stream going on at the moment across the pond. Sorry if it's clashing. Um, That's how it goes. It's how it goes sometimes. Um, but yes, hello everybody. Quite a few of you have been telling me in the chat which are your favourite songs from Paul McCartney's new album, The Boys of Dungeon Lane. It's hard to believe it's only been out 2 days. Well, it came out. This is the third day, isn't it, that it's been out? Exciting, and what a reception this album seems to be getting. I just keep seeing great review after great review, not only from the official press, journalists, media, but just general fans who are very easy or eager often to say, nah, he's lost it, this is no good. It just seems to be getting great reviews all round. Loud and clear, says Nick Hudson. Thank you, Nick, for confirming. Um, Sheffield and beyond, hello, how are you doing? Don't seem to hear from you too often these days, but then again, that's probably because I'm not doing this very often. But this is the only live stream. If that were true, if only that were true. But yes, thank you very much. Yes, Golden God Dennis Reynolds counter programming mean Mr. Mayo. Yeah, I realised that he's live as well, and it's just how it goes sometimes. So if you've made it to this, I thank you. Let me tell you what's going to happen this evening, or what I hope's going to happen. We're going to have a chat about presumably the boys of Dungeon Lane, but as normal, anything else that you want to throw into the chat, feel free to. I have a plan for this. Now, some of you will be familiar with my World Cups. This is sort of a World Cup. Now, I've got just a little bit of something I would like you to think about, which will help what we're going to do. If you could make a mental note or a written note of what you think your four favourite songs are on this new album, The Boys of Dungeon Lane, that will come in very useful. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to throw a series of questions at you through the live poll. Basically, one for each song on the album, saying, is this one of your top four songs on the album? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a note of the percentages, and the four songs that get the highest percentage of people saying, yes, this is one of my four favourites, they're going to go through to the semi-finals, and we're going to do a sort of a knockout draw between those four songs. So have a little think about what your favourite four songs on the album might be. And when I ask you if each song is one of your favourites, you can vote yes or no accordingly. Clear as mud? Hopefully. Hello, everybody who's saying hello. Nick Fail, this one's just caught my eye. Hi Andrew, do you think Macca will do any more UK gigs in the future? The new album is class. Days We Left Behind is already one of my fave songs Macca ever done. Wow. Do I think he'll do any more UK gigs? Probably. Is he ever going to stop performing? Obviously, he doesn't do that many over here. Certainly wouldn't expect to hear about them first. I would expect to hear about that he's going to America, maybe South America, maybe Japan, the usual sort of places. And if that happens, hopefully he'll throw a few our way, maybe just before Christmas, as he likes to do. Here's everybody. Before we get too far into this, this is a Murphy's Irish Stout I'm having tonight, just to keep the old throat lubricated. I'm going to make sure it goes back on my shelf properly and not all over my Vox amp that's below it. Terry says you've had a chance to read the Dylan/Beatles book, but it looks a fascinating read. I'll admit, I'm not sure what book that is, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe it's something that I will come to know eventually. Terry Nutkins, hello, my jaw. I'm assuming not the Terry Nutkins. My jaw dropped the first time I heard "Come Inside," especially the chord sequence. You thought of me in Abbey Road. That was crazy. I'd have burst into tears hearing that there. Did you notice how good it was? The main thing I remember at Abbey Road about it, I realise now that I just wasn't able to take in a lot of the music because I was just so overawed by what was going on there. Come outside, I remember mainly Paul setting it up in advance saying, this one's just a fun rocker, don't think too much about it. Okay. And I just sort of let it wash over me. But yeah, I do find I'm as I said in my review video that I did a couple of days ago, I think. I'm really glad that that kicks off side B on the vinyl because side B I think is awesome. I really do, and it's good that that's on there. There's two or three that I'm not so sure about. Doesn't mean I don't like them. They're just not my favourites. They all seem to be on side A. Hello from Liverpool, Julie Hoffman. Have you been down to Dungeon Lane? Have you procured a street sign? Somebody must have done by now. Buddy Rowe, I think this album benefits so much from the experimentation and varying sounds from all the albums in the 21st century. You think he's perfected and applied them to another level on this album. Very good. Yeah, there is quite a bit of experimentation or creativity on this album. Which I think to get from somebody in his 80s just shows how much he still cares. I set a poll going, I can't even see it at the moment, of are you enjoying the Boys of Dungeon Lane? And there's yes, no, or haven't heard it yet options. I can't see the whole of the poll. I can see that 88% of you have said yes, you're enjoying it, but I can't actually see what the other people have voted. But 88% is pretty good, isn't it? Anthony, hello, how you doing? Never Know is by far the most interesting song in my opinion. I love the instrumentation. Yeah, it took me about 4 or 5 listens to that song to realise that there was all sorts going on there. And that it is a very interesting song. Reminds me a little bit in places of something like Appreciate from New, which I remember at the time when he was only what just 70 then, wasn't he? Thinking, oh, we don't have the right to expect somebody of that age to be doing a song that sort of experimental and whatever. And Never Knows maybe not quite experimental, but very certainly very creative. Great. Terry Nutkins, believe me, there is nothing to see in Dungeon Lane. It's barren. I've only seen it on Google Maps. I did like the chicken shop interview that Paul did. I guess probably quite a lot of you have seen it, where she says to him, if I'm in Liverpool, should I go down to Dungeon Lane? Is it worth the trip? And he went, no. I'm sure it was. It's the memory of it that's great for him, isn't it? Hi, Lewis in the US. How are you doing? You've listened to the stream 3 times. Brilliant. You've got the CD and just played it. A cross between Chaos and Creation and Flaming Pie. Definitely. It's a cross between those two and Memory Almost Full, New, Egypt Station. There's a bit of McCartney 3 in there. It's very much him bringing together all the styles that he's been doing over the last nearly 30 years, I think. Mike Child. Hello, Mike. How are you doing? I was quite right about the CD and vinyl masterings. Quite different experiences. Definitely. I've got a vinyl copy here, and I'm sure I've got the CD, vinyl and CD. There, yeah, there is a huge difference between these two. This has certainly got a lot of oomph and impact, but it really opens up the sound if you listen to it on vinyl through a good record player and a good system. There's a lot of depth there to it, and it's nowhere near as harsh, but it really sounds good on vinyl. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap up the poll that's going at the moment about whether or not you're enjoying Dungeon Lane because I want to get into the meat of these polls that I'm going to be sending out to you. Because there's a few to get through. But 85% of you have said yes, you are enjoying Dungeon Lane. 8% of you haven't heard it yet. Okay. Hopefully you can. Don't be too swayed by us, but hopefully you'll get an appreciation for maybe what's the good stuff on there. 7% of you are not enjoying it. Well, there's always going to be. There's no album out there that 100% of the people like, is there? But I think that's a pretty good score. Is that? Um, Hi, Joseph. You've been hearing rumours this may be Paul's last album. What are your thoughts? It's just rumours from us fans. There's certainly been nothing from Paul, has there, to suggest one way or the other. Um, who knows? Who knows? Um, right. So If you've just joined, hello, thank you for joining. I'm just going to remind you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send out a series of polls, one for each song on the album, and I want you to have a think about what are your top four songs on the album at the moment. And when the poll comes up, if it's one of those four songs, I'm going to say, is this one of your top four on the album? And the ones with the highest percentages are going to go through to like a semi-final. And we will figure out what is the favourite Boys of Dungeon Lane song out there. So I'm just going to set this poll up for you first of all. So this first poll is going to be as you lie there, and I'm going to put 4 question mark at the end. So if you think that as you lie there, the opening song on the album is one of your top 4 songs on the album, say yes. If it isn't, say no, and we'll see which songs are getting the highest percentages. They're going to go through. Game on, says Terry Nutkins. You are bang right. Game on. Right, what else have we got? Hi, Andrew Gledhill. How are you doing? If Giles Martin is responsible for the string arrangement on Mama Gets By, then his dad will be looking down with immense pride. Just stunning. It's a great song. There's a bit of a theory going around, isn't there, about Mama Gets By, about what it might be about. I'll talk about that when we get to that song. I've listened to it now with that theory in mind, and oh my god, the song, it was already up here and it's gone like that. So let's see how this is doing. I'm not going to let each poll run for a long time because there's 14 songs here. Even at 4 minutes a pop, that's nearly an hour. So I'm going to end these polls quite quickly to see what percentages. So get your votes in quick. If it's one of your top 4 songs on the album, then say yes, and if it isn't, say no. So I'm going to end this poll. If I can figure out how to. Here we go, end poll. So that is, I think, 72%. Okay, if that gets in the top 4 percentages, then it's through to the semi-final. So the next song is Lost Horizon. So I'm just creating a poll for that, which is taking me, start a poll. Right, okay, yes, Lost Horizon. Again, I'll just put top 4 question mark at the end of these so that you know what it is you're thinking about. Is Lost Horizon, second song. As You Lie There, let's just talk about As You Lie There for a moment. It's a great opening song, I think, this song about Jasmine. I wonder is Jasmine still around? This is what I want to know. The girl in Liverpool who Paul fancied, who came to knock on his door one day, but he was in the toilet when she knocked and he never saw her again. Is she still around? Does she know that Paul's made this song? This is a question we need to know the answer to. Hi, Martin. Martin says, "Do you hear some Brian Wilson influences?" I think there's a little bit of sort of vocal boo 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 boo. Is it Ripples in a Pond? That song? I'm trying to remember now. That's a little bit Brian-y. I mean, he's always going to be. He's been shaped, hasn't he? His whole personality as a musician has been shaped since the mid-60s a little bit by having somebody like Brian as a contemporary, a friendly competitor. So yeah, Polythene Pam, the poll came up before you started typing it up. That's because there's a delay. What you're seeing now is about 20 seconds behind me actually saying it, whereas the polls come through immediately. So if I can think on my feet enough to actually try and sync them up a bit, I will do. But that's why that is. Let's end that poll, and I am surprised. Only because Lost Horizon is actually. Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry, I was getting it the wrong way around. I was thinking more of you had voted yes, more of you have voted no. So 23% of you, that's probably more like what I was expecting, have said Lost Horizon is in your top 4. So I don't think it's probably not going to make it through to the semi finals, but we shall see. Yeah, Lost Horizon certainly isn't. It's not grabbing me as much as the other songs, really. Okay, so you've got the poll coming through now for Days We Left Behind. We'll see if it syncs up a little bit better time wise now. For Days We Left Behind, is this a top four song on the album for you or not? Um, I know what I think will happen here. I mean, the song's been around obviously longer than all the others, hasn't it? And we know from what Paul's been saying, the reason it was chosen as the opening song. I hesitate to use the word single because I don't even understand what a single is these days. But the opening song is he just loves it. He thinks it's a great song. He's really enjoying it. As am I. As am I. Um, Noel, I apologise if I've butchered your name there. Noel Martinez. If Paul recorded 25 tracks with Andrew Watt, they could go on the same. Stones went on with close release of two albums. So yeah, maybe could he hold some of these other songs that he's recorded over for another album? Might we get a deluxe edition like the Egypt Station Explorers edition that's got a load of bonus tracks? Who knows? We shall see. I'm sure if there's a way to get more money out of us, whatever the way that is, that's the way that they'll go. Cynical. Nick says, "Did I enjoy Macca tracks of my years? Was there any shock song choices?" I think probably the most surprising ones would be two great songs: "Human League," "Don't You Want Me," and "Hits" by Prince. They were the ones that I think we wouldn't expect him to have picked. But "Don't You Want Me" by Human League is one of my all-time favourite pop songs as a pop song. Still got my single here that I got for Christmas 1981. Still got it in the house somewhere. I've ended that poll anyway. Like I say, I'm gonna rattle through these fairly quickly. Gizzard, I'll answer your question in a second. Left Behind, top four. 79% of you said yes. That's a good score. Not unexpected. Okay, so let's move on to the next one, which it'll take me a little while just to get a poll going for you. So this is Ripples in a Pond, track four. Is it a top four song on the album for you? I've been enjoying this song. I think it's a really good, jaunty pop song. And this is one where I'd be thinking, oh, is it top four or isn't it? Borderline for me. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm literally the only person who's not allowed to vote in this thing, which always winds me up. I do these, put all this blooming effort in, and I'm not allowed to take part. Outrageous. So, is "Ripples in a Pond" one of your top four favourite songs on this album? 64% of you at the moment are saying no. Interesting. Thought it might do a little bit better than this, but it's probably not gonna it's probably not gonna get through. But we'll see. We'll see. GB Irving, your limited edition white cover was disappointing as you realised you preferred the artwork. Right, okay, so you don't mean that there was a problem with it, like the scratches or anything. It was just that you thought, actually, I'd rather have the proper cover. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Stephen Meadows, hello. Ripples number 5 for you, so you voted no. Yeah, it's probably about where I would have it as well. I think it's probably just outside my top four. Wait, Gary, this is interesting. Gary Dobbs, Andrew, it was Jasmine Dobbs. Is this a relation of yours? Who is today called Jasmine Howe, and she lives in the New Forest. Oh, so she's nowhere near Liverpool then. She's 83 and was interviewed by the Sun newspaper yesterday. Shame it was the Sun. Never mind. That's interesting. Is she a relation of yours? I would like to know. That's very interesting. Um, Terry says, even though you can't take part, can we still hear your top four when the time comes? Okay, remind me at the end. I'm going to have to figure out what my top four is. A Hoffner, thank you so much. I'm very grateful for that. Thank you. I never ask for these things, but that is very kind of you. Thank you. Buddy Rowe, connection you've made is that every album after a McCartney album, yeah, okay, are masterpieces. So Ram, Tug of War, Dungeon, interesting. I've not heard that theory before. That's an interesting one. We'll have to have a think about that one. Um, oh, Gary, she's your auntie. Paul was perving at my auntie. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. I hope she's well. I'm glad I asked that question now. Right. Anyway, 66% of you said no, so that must be 34 said yes. Because I can only see the one line of it at the moment. Oh, actually, I haven't ended the poll, have I? So it might change a little bit, but it's not going to get in that top few. Um, no, 33% it ended up ripples in a pond. Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, it's good to hear that Jasmine is still with us. Um, still with us. That rhymes with Bill Withers, doesn't it? That's totally irrelevant to anything. Um, anyway, I don't know why I said that, but anyway, um, I'm just preparing a next poll for you. So this is Mountaintop, the sort of psychedelic. Well, it gets a lot more psychedelic towards the end, doesn't it? It's a nice enough sort of pop rock song for about 3 minutes or so. Big explosive ending. So is that one of your top four songs on the album? Let us know. You should be getting a poll through any moment. And that's Elijah. Thank you. I appreciate that. As You Lie There is amazing, says Elijah. It's a great opening to the album. It really is. I know I've said on a couple of videos, I'm going to say this here. I've said on a couple of videos already that the beginning bit, the spoken part, reminds me of Lois Lane in Superman, the proper Superman, 1978, Flying with Superman. Can you read my mind? But I figured out something else it reminds me of, and some of you might know this. And I'm sorry, I'm almost loath to say this because if you know what I'm talking about and I put this in your brain, it might never leave. I'm not going to say it just yet. It depends whether you want me to, but you might regret me saying this. Um, Sheffield and Beyond, doesn't Alan Partridge do the Bill Withers still? Yes, when he was on air, and that was Bill Withers, who thankfully is still with us. Yes, I wish I could do a great Alan Partridge impression. I really could. There's not many people who can. Um, Mihoko, I hope I've pronounced that right. You love the song, but it's just out of your top four. Yeah, I think it's going to be like that for a few things, a few songs, isn't it? Where, oh, is it in my top four? I'm not quite sure. Um, as a few people want me to say it, I might say it then in a couple of minutes. Um, all right, cover your ears if you don't want me to say this. If you've ever seen the Michael Barrymore video of his old show, whatever it was he used to do, where he was doing that I'll see you when you get there, if you ever get there, whatever song that is. Um, the speaking parts that he does in that is, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You can take your fingers out your ears again now. Um, the talking part reminds me of Dire Straits. The game commences for the usual fee plus expenses. Yeah, it is Private Investigations. What a song that is. Anyway, we're getting off topic here, aren't we? I'm going to end that poll. That was Mountaintop, wasn't it? So, how many people have said Mountaintops in their top four? 38% of you. It's clinging. It's in third place at the moment, but I don't think it's going to stay there. I don't think it's going to stay there. Richard, Albion, hello, how are you doing? Silver, fewest copies. I presume you've got the silver. You've got nearly every other one, haven't you? How many did you end up with in the end? I know you told me a couple of weeks ago that you'd bought about 78 variants or something like that. But we're going to move on to the next song while I get it prepared. So we're talking now about the song Down South, the song that Paul has written about getting to know George, going hitchhiking with him down in Wales, and getting to play rock and roll on the top deck of a bus with a guitar. Is that one of your top four songs on the album? For me, I don't think it's top four. I really like the song and I love the fact that it exists. It's great that he's singing that for George. I don't think I would have it on top four, but let's have a see. It's not up to me, is it? We've already established that. Terry says this is like Eurovision. It's better than Eurovision, surely, isn't it? Okay, what's going on? Let's just have a little look at the chat. I wonder if McCartney will meet Jasmine. Who was that? Who said that? Simon. Um, as he knows she's alive. I don't know. It'd be interesting if she's in. Oh, forgive if this is terrible geography, but if she's in the New Forest, similar end of the country to where Paul lives, isn't it? I'm not very familiar with that end of the country. I've never actually been down. I've never been down to that corner of the country where Paul lives. Actually, um, it's very Don Dylan style. I presume that's Bob's brother, is it? Um, I don't know. Dan, you got 6 copies. Fantastic. I've got one more copy coming, maybe tomorrow, but I think the tracking suggests it's probably not arriving tomorrow. It should be a nice one. Um, Hello, Martin. How are you doing? Paul's 3 best songs of the last 30 years. You've chosen 3 very good ones there. Calico Skies. I think I did a series of like best Paul songs of each decade, and I put Calico Skies as number one, my favourite for the 90s. Nick Hudson says the talking part spoils as you lie there for me. Okay, fair enough. Paul did say he was quite sort of self-conscious about it, and he'd avoided doing it for years for that reason. Um, no problem, let it Beatle. You meant Bob Dylan. I thought you might. Jasmine has 3 children, and they say she was never aware. She was never aware Paul had the hots for her. She is now. My goodness me. Um, let's now. Well, again, apologies if I'm saying that wrong. Let's start a campaign so they get Paul to meet with Jasmine now and flood Paul's socials. I wonder if Nancy would allow this to happen. Interesting. Let's end this poll. New Forest is Hampshire way. Thank you. So it's sort of that'll be west of where Paul lives, then, won't it? I guess it's within an hour or two's drive. Is it maybe? I don't know. Could be wrong. Could be like 6 hours. So is down south in your top floor? Top floor? Top four. 28% of you said yes. There must be some big numbers coming along soon because you're all been very reserved about putting something in your top four so far. Um, I like this question. Comedy Impressions Rod says, "Hi Andrew, do you think Paul will ever be in the same room as Pete Best, as he does seem to fondly remember him in recent interviews?" I'll say now something that's been on my mind. Well, first of all, who knows is the answer to your question. But with how much this album, how much Paul's looking back, I think this would have been a perfect opportunity. Have Pete drum on a song on this album. Colin Hanton in from the Quarrymen. Let him drum on. If the drumming's a bit out of time, they can fix that these days. It's no problem. But imagine if you had Pete Best and a Quarryman, Colin Hanton, drumming on a couple of songs. I think that would have been great. If it was those songs that were sort of really looking back at the early days, I'd have liked that. But there you go. A little over a 2-hour drive. Thank you for confirming that, A. Hoffner. Um, right. I'm going to think about the next poll now, which is We Too, which is the last song on side A, if you're looking on vinyl. Is that one of your top 4 songs, do you think, on the album? Let's see whether this can buck the recent trend. We've had 33, 38, and 28% of you on the last 3 songs put it top 4. There must be some big votes coming up later on, is what I'm thinking. William Joyce, you think you prefer the second half of the album on first few listens? Absolutely, I agree. I think the second half of the album is fantastic. Hi Andrew, do you think that with Paul looking back at his past that this could inspire Ringo to do the same for a future album? I think Ringo's been doing it a lot anyway. You could probably put an album's worth together of songs over the last however many years where Ringo's been doing that. So I wonder whether he's just, as and when he feels like it, he'll do a song that's in that vein. Maybe he will. Maybe he's run out of ideas because he's done them all. But I think he has done quite a lot already. Um, yeah, Julia linking up with the sun would be terrible. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think. Well, anyway, maybe they were the only ones who were interested. I don't know. I know what you mean. Um, anyway, Bob M, you say Salesman Saint is your number one. It's a great song. I really do think that. Paul may need Pete's permission to potentially put out the Hamburg tapes. Yeah, I don't know exactly how all that works. I'm su- I would assume he'd get permission because Pete's going to be thinking ka-ching, like he was on Anthology. There's probably not that much money to be made these days, but I'd be surprised if Pete didn't want it out. Probably Peter Jackson's got a big say in it at the moment, hasn't he? Seen as though he owns the tapes. Um, right. Anyway, what have we got? Gizzard, you seem to be in the minority. Your top four are Mountaintop, Ripples in the Pond, We Two, and Salesman Saint. Right. Well, okay. I hope that they hope you're voting yes for those when each of those come up. Then, so we've got another really low score here. We Two, and to be honest, it's probably my least favourite song on the album, so I'm not too surprised that scored low. So far, as you lie, well, in top spot, Days We Left Behind, 79% said yes, top four. As You Lie There, 72%. In third place is Mountaintop with 38%. So, yeah, there must be some big scores coming anyway. Um, yeah, Buddy Rowe, if you didn't see Buddy's comment earlier on, have a look at that about his theory about what follows the McCartney albums. Um, actually, Danny, yeah, sorry, yeah, Pete Best is not on the Hamburg tapes, is he? December 62, wasn't it? So yeah, he's not going to be on there. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Anyway, right, we're moving on to side B if we're in vinyl world. So we're now coming on to the rocker. Come inside. Good fun rocker. I think this is a real good start to side B. Is this in your top four songs on the album? Let us know in the poll, which is coming through now. Come inside. Is that a top four song? Just a reminder, there's about a 20-second difference between me saying something and you seeing it, but the polls come through immediately. So sometimes the polls might appear before it looks like I've actually done them. Many thanks to Gary Dobbs here, who is letting us know some great information about Jasmine, the subject of As You Lie There. So if any of you have joined in late and not seen that, then that's worth looking at. Um, this one rocks hard, says Let It Be. So it's doing a bit better. Is this one? It's making its way into the top four at the moment. I don't think well enough to actually stay there. It would be weird if it did. DD Productions Limited says we are all waiting for Mama Gets By. Classic. It's at the end of this album, the last three songs. I think what a last three songs on this album. Will be interesting to see. It is a bit like Eurovision, where all the top voted stuff comes at the end because that's the way that they do it. Maybe that's what's happening here. Um, Comedy Impressions Rod. Hi Andrew, I've heard rumours that the next Peter Jackson Beatles project is all the footage the Beatles shot for the White Album. Apparently there is 8 hours of footage. Yeah, we've known about this footage for a while. It would be great if that's the case. Love to see it all. Um, yeah. So how's this poll doing anyway? This is for Come Inside, and 40% of you have voted it in the top four. So it's currently in third place. I don't think it's going to stay there personally, but currently it's in fourth place. Hi Gareth, Andrew, do you think they will release BBC tapes in a more complete form with complete shows of Pop Go the Beatles, From Us to You, Top Gear, etc.? I think it would be fantastic. Um, who knows? Who knows how they think in that Beatles camp? If they ever decide that that's their number one priority, then. But dear me, it's hard to know what's going on there at the moment. Are they ever going to give us Rubber Soul and carry on that series? They really should do. So anyway, the next song is Never Know. Is this a top four song for you on the album? It is. It grows in my estimation each time I hear this song. I think. I just think it's on paper, in theory. I don't think it's a very exciting song. I just think it's very interesting. I think the recording is really interesting. The instrumentation and all the things that's going on there, that sort of Celtic recorder or flute towards the end. I think it's probably a recorder, isn't it? Those first three notes where you think it's going to go into In the Bleak Midwinter, it goes da da da, but then it goes off in another direction. It's a really nice song. Is this one? I like it. Tell you what, I'm interested to see what Mama Gets By does in this poll. The way that you lot are bigging it up. Um, what was that one? There's a question that I just saw there from somebody who said they were a first time viewer. I drink juice. Hello, new viewer here. Well, welcome. Out of curiosity, what's your favourite track from the record, and what's your least favourite Macca album? I think probably at the moment, just because it's had such a head start, I would have to go Days We Left Behind. I think there's potential for two or three other songs to maybe overtake it, but at the moment, because it's got that head start, it's still in first place for me. But ask me again in a couple of months' time. And what was the other part of it? What's my least favourite Macra album? As far as regular studio albums go, can I choose Broad Street? Because a lot of it's covers of his own songs. That would be a contender. Um, don't flame me down here, people. There's a lot of great songs on this particular album that I'm going to mention. Lot of really good songs. I've just never found it hangs together well as an album for me. To the egg. Sorry. Driving Rain has to be in the conversation as well. I'm going to end this poll anyway. Probably ended it long before you see that I've ended it. So never know. Is it a top four song? Only 33%. I thought it might do a little bit better than that. Certainly not going to make top four. That's for certain. We've got an interesting one coming up now. Let me just prepare this one. So, um, Home to Us, Paul and Ringo, the duet. Um, I've several times found myself just singing this when I've been in the kitchen making me tea, when I've just been wandering around, and I suddenly find I've been singing this song for a while. Home to Us, is it a top four song for you on the album? I said in my review it reminds me quite a lot of the Knicker Elastic King by the Ruttles, and I mean that in a good way because I really like that song and I love the Ruttles. Um, Gary Dobbs says, "Yeah, Back to the Egg is boring." That's it. I love a lot of the songs that are on it. It just doesn't work as an album for me, and I like an album. I like the listening experience of an album. Um, Charles Duncan says, Andrew, are you doing your research for the Beatles board coming up? Okay, I'm going to mention this. It's too late. I've already done it. It's already been recorded. I think it's going to be coming out in the next few days. If you don't know what that is, it's um, Beatley Tone. Many of you will know Beatley Tone and Paul from Dinner with Greedo. They do a joint thing. They're doing these. They're getting guests on to basically do a Beatles quiz, and there's like a leaderboard of how people have done. So we've recorded it. I've done it. I think it's going to be going live this week sometime on Beatley Tone's channel. So it's too late for me to do the revision. Um, as I thought to myself when the quiz finished, it's too late. I needed to do a lot more revision. Um, Maybe I did really well. You'll have to watch and find out. It was fun anyway. I enjoyed doing it. It was a fun couple of hours that we spent doing that. I think they've edited it down to a lot less now. Um, so anyway, let's end this poll for what song are we on anyway? Home to Us, the Paul and Ringo duet. Is it one of your top four songs on the album? Come on, you've got a few seconds left if you want to vote for this. Um, Poll's ended. I've ended it. So how's that done? GB Irving says it's more a Ringo song to me, not a McCartney track as such. It's a good nostalgia song. I think it certainly it would have fitted like a glove on a Ringo album, not the recent country ones, but some of his ones of the last sort of 25, 30 years. It would fit so well on there. 46% of you have voted. That's good. That's the highest score we've had since Days We Left Behind. So that's currently in third place. It's going to be interesting because I think this is really ramping up now. Tom Edwards says the ending sounds like Oasis, don't you think? Interesting. I'll have to have another listen to it on that basis. So I hear these things and then I can't sort of visualize it. I've got to go and listen to that with that in mind. So I will do that next time I listen to it. So we'll see. Okay, so Life Can Be Hard. Is this a top four song for you? This is the first one, like Home to Us. This is the first one actually where I found myself just humming this while I was out in the garden and just doing things. I'd be going do 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 do. But is it a top four song for you? Let us know. Is it a top four song on this album for you? Um, and of course, this song's been hidden in plain sight, hasn't it, for a few years now on the McCartney 321 series that he did with Rick Rubin several years ago. He gets on the piano and starts playing this song. It's been there for me. Craig Williams says it's a top. Have I not done a poll? Oh, I did it as a comment rather than a poll. Oh, what a div, as we used to say. I will remedy that. I apologise, everybody. Okay, I apologise. Life Can Be Hard. Is this a top four song for you on the album? Yes, the poll's not working. No, I did it as I typed it as a comment. I pressed the wrong button. So you'll see a comment up there from me that just says "Life Can Be Hard." Top four. That was no use to anybody, was it? Patrick Sweden. Hello. How many more songs are left to vote on? So we're doing "Life Can Be Hard." Then we're into the last three songs. I'm expecting some good scores still to come. Lost Horizons top four, says John Alello. It's no, it's not going to get top four, I'm afraid. 23% of the people who were around at that point voted it as one of their top four songs. It ain't going to make the top four. If you've recently joined, let me explain what's happening. We're doing all these polls. Once we've finished the album, I'm going to look at which four songs got the highest number of yes votes for it being a top four song. They're going to be like our semi-finalists, and then game on, World Cup, semi-finals. We're going to find out your favourite song on the Boys of Dungeon Lane. Why are people saying this is 20s vaudeville, says Craig Williams. Interesting. I've missed comments saying that. So that's interesting. If people have been saying that, maybe you want to tell us why you think that. I can see it could be like quite an old-fashioned tune. Nil Point from Terry for what song are we on? Life Can Be Hard. I'm going to end this poll anyway. So let's see. The Earthlings says First Star of the Night is your number one song. So, well, that's up next. So you've got a chance to vote for it. The Ultimate Dungeon Lane 4-track EP, says Tyrone. Yeah, it could be. Let It Beatles says, what are your favourite bands beside the Beatles? Interesting. I'm going to answer that in a second. I'm just going to make a note of this result. 42% of you have said that Life Can Be Hard is one of your four favourite songs. So that's actually in fourth place now. 42% of you, and that's in fourth place. Come Inside has gone. What's one of my favourite bands at the moment? I'll tell you what my favourite band at the moment is. The Lemon Twigs. This is their new album. Just happened to have it to hand. Look for Your Mind. Incredible. Just over a week ago, I saw them live for the fourth time in Leeds, and I really cannot think of a better live band anywhere at the moment. They are incredible. I love the Lemon Twigs. Right, we're into the last four songs of the album. The last three songs, sorry, of the album. Three polls to go before we find out what our semi-finalists are. So, is First Star of the Night a top four song for you? This is the song that Paul said he wrote in Costa Rica when he was there on tour, and he had a day off. He hoped to go swimming, go out, have a nice day in the sun, and there was no sun. There was only rain. So he thought, oh, I've got a guitar, I'll write a song. And this is the song that he wrote. At the beginning of the song on the album, you hear him say something like "Raining in Costa Rica." That's from that demo that he did in November 2024. And then it goes into the studio version. I think it's a beautiful song. I really do. And it's doing terribly in this poll. Goodness me, Gary Dobbs, Chas and Dave, your favourite band. Um, how many times do you see people saying something like, yeah, Chas and Dave might be a comedy band, but Ain't No Pleasing You is an all-time classic. And yeah, well, Snooker Loopy is a song that I would gladly have played at my funeral. There you go. If anybody who's going to attend my funeral is watching, remember that I want Snooker Loopy playing at my funeral. Um, this is doing awful, and I'm really surprised. Um, Paul Wheatley says you love House of Wax and Vintage Clothes and that medley on Memory Almost Full. Yep, brilliant, excellent. I'm ending the poll anyway. Yeah, Terry Wings, they're only the band the Beatles could have been. They really are. James Boyce, you love the Lemon Twigs too. You saw them in Norwich 2 weeks ago. You met Michael before the gig wandering around. I saw Michael a few years ago in Leeds before one of the gigs, and I was in the car, parked, and he was stood outside the hotel that they were staying in with his little suitcase. This was about 3 hours before the gig, and I was so tempted to wind my window down. I said, Michael, do you want a lift? I'll give you a lift to the gig, but I didn't dare do it. Um, so anyway, first star of the night, 28% of you said yes. Um, I'm not, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say on that. I thought it would do better. I wasn't sure it'd get top four, but I thought it would do better than that. I think you're saving up your votes for what's to come, potentially. Um, uh, Jim, best Beatles tribute band, bootlegs. Oh, this is interesting. Bootlegs have gone off the boil since Steve's departure. He was Paul, wasn't he? Um, I know that they've got it looks like a much younger guy that they've got in now to replace Steve. I haven't seen them recently, so I mean, Tyson's gone, hasn't he, as well, and been replaced by I don't know the new guy's name. Interesting. Start a poll. Start a poll is the button I've just pressed. Um, okay, Salesman Saint. Is this a top four song for you on the album? The song about Paul's mum and dad. My father was a salesman, mother was a saint. Uh, is it a top four song for you on the album? It is for me. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it'll stay that way. I think it's a lovely song. Um, it's doing all right. Everybody, you don't just have to save your one vote up for Mama Gets By. You can vote for, you can vote for as many songs as you want here, but I hope that most of you are sort of selecting four songs. Because in theory, how's my maths here? You should expect four songs to get over 50% of you saying yes, I think, if my logic's working right. And we ain't nowhere near that. Um, so yeah, this is surprising. I thought the last two songs would have done better than this. But there you go. Um, John says, "Andrew, can Paul knock off Drake and get a number one?" I certainly hope so. I hope our efforts haven't all been in vain. Is what I'll say on that. But I'm going to end this poll for Salesman Saint. Hi Faber, didn't you say a few days ago that you didn't like Salesman Saint? I don't think I said that. I don't think I said. Please, if I'm wrong, please point out if you think I've said that. I don't think I have. Um, Comedy Impression says, "Hi Andrew, Paul McCartney used to send early test pressings to Chas and Dave for their approval." Really? Is this what? Hey? Um, okay. I've never heard that before. I mean, there's obviously the one of the best bits of pop trivia of all time, isn't there, about who plays drums and bass on My Name Is by Eminem. It's Chaz and Dave. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that one before. How many did I end this poll? I think I did. 45% of you. Do you know what? It might sneak in the top four. Let me just do a quick rundown here before we get to Mama Gets By, and which I know is the one you all want me to get to. We've got As You Lie There in the lead on 72%. No, sorry, Days Were Left Behind on 79. Then As You Lie There. Then we've got Salesman Saint is in no, Home to Us is in third place with 46, so that's guaranteed to get top four. Salesman Saint on 45, I suspect, is about to be pushed out of fourth place. I suspect. Let's see. I'm going to start a poll here, and this is for the final song on the album, Mama Gets By. Is this a top four song for you? So you should have a poll through for that by now. Mama Gets By. So I really liked it when I first heard it. Well, I'll change that around a bit. I didn't take much in at Abbey Road when I first heard it because I was just I was a mess. So the first time I heard it at home a few days ago, I enjoyed it. And it's just gone like that ever since. Now, I've seen this theory floating around on the internet. I don't know if anybody's mentioned it in here. That is Mama Gets By about Linda, about those early days in Scotland when the Beatles were breaking up and Paul was having his sort of breakdown. Mama gets by, Daddy gets high. Is Paul the daddy? She loves him. It's only recently she agreed to be his wife. It all sorts of fits. Only the bits about her going out to work and coming back home. But you know, he might be talking about work as in running the house. And I wondered, Mama, because of the way it's spelt, Moma, is that Mama Miss America? Mama Miss America? Was that Linda? And here, Mama Gets By? I wonder. But listening to it in that vein, I think it really, really hit me. It was only this afternoon when I first listened to it with that thought in mind. Yeah, so I'm going to end this poll. Terry says, "Do you think Paul still talks about the day he saw me in Abbey Road? Did he even see me at any point? I don't know. I mean, I was right there. I was sat one row behind James, his son, who was right in front of him, and I was only sort of a yard to Paul's left. So I don't know. It was great though. Linda got more high than Paul. Yes, quite probably. Mama Gets By. 69% have voted yes on that. No surprise, it's a top four song. So I can now reveal. Right, Days We Left Behind is in the semi-finals. That won with 79%. Next up, with 72% of you saying it was a top four song, As You Lie There, the opening track. In third place, with 69%, is Mama Gets By. And in fourth place, let's just make sure I get this absolutely right. Yeah. Fifth place is Salesman Saint. 45% of you said yes. But 46% in fourth place, Home to Us, the duet with Ringo. So we've got our top four, which now going to be a bit more like my World Cup. I don't know which, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do first against fourth, second against third, like it would be in the footy playoffs. That's how I'm going to do it, however that works out. So we'll get on to that in a moment. Let's just make sure I'm up to date with the chat. Paul said Mama is totally fictional characters. Oh, it's Joe. Hello, Joe. How are you doing? Good to see you. Sorry if I think I started my live stream while you were still doing yours. But that's what happens sometimes, isn't it? I'd said 8 o'clock tonight, and there we go. Silver Vinyl, says Jim. Where to purchase? I think, isn't that the one that a lot of independent record stores have been selling? they've been doing listening parties and people have been able to buy it at those. I think that's the silver one, so maybe you might want to try an independent record store, see if they've got any copies available. Let's wet the whistle. It's a Murphy's Stout, if anybody's wondering. It's not a Guinness, so it looks the same. Doesn't quite taste the same, though. No, Come Inside did not make it into the top four, Terry. I Drink Juice says, Andrew, where would you rank this album in his discography? I think it's too early to say for definite, but I think at the moment, I was looking at this the other day. I've got my rankings set out from an old series of videos I did a few years ago, and it got to sort of 10th place, which was, I can't remember what it was. It was something like Egypt Station, and I thought, I can't rank it above that. And I went down to 15th place, and I thought it's definitely above that, whatever 15th was. So it's somewhere between 10 to 15 out of, in that ranking, there was 28, now 29 albums. So it's probably just in the top half, I think, at the moment. Pedro, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Matthew McGuinness says the first bit of Mama Gets By is almost Bond-esque to me. Interesting. Interesting. Hey, Hoffner, you got three in the top four. That's a good point. Did anybody get 4 out of 4? Did you reserve yourself to 4 yeses, and did you get the 4 songs that made it? Just type 4 out of 4 or 4/4 if you did that. Terry says, "Have I tried Guinness Zero?" Yeah, I think it's great. It's there's a lot of really really bad zero alcohol drinks out there, and Guinness Zero isn't one of them. I really like Guinness Zero. Um, Blockhaven is a stout worth trying. Thank you, Gary. I don't think I've had that one before. I'll look out for it. Joe says, "What's your favourite McCartney album, Andrew?" I think it's probably Ram. I, it's I think if I didn't say Ram, I think I would be kidding myself. Yeah, we've got a few 3 out of 4s. Hello Tyrone, how are you doing? 4 Drag Gurus, 4 out of 4. Pablo's Vinyl, hello 4. We've got a few people who've got 4 out of 4. Well done. Plenty of 3s. Um, Gareth says Egypt Station is very overrated, in your opinion. It's the great thing, isn't it? We've all got opinions, and the thing with Paul McCartney, songs, albums, different people can be massive fans of Paul McCartney and have completely different opinions about which are his best albums, which are his best songs. I love Egypt Station, I really do. Mark, enjoy your Guinness Zero. Cheers. Um, Here we go. Hello, Michael. How are you doing? Is it time for a Dylan album countdown yet? He's been asking me to do this for years. You know that I'm going to do it eventually. You know I'm going to do a Dylan album ranking video. Well, you know that I keep saying I'm going to do it. I'll do it one day. I promise. I promise. Would I let you down? Have I ever let you? I probably have let you down at some point. Oh, what's this? Kunda Brabana. I hope I've not butchered that name. Andrew, you mentioned something that really made a lot clear to me. Your point about Paul taking a new direction with Flaming Pie. From then on, I can hear some Wings influences returning in his music. Yeah, so it was when I did like a pre-launch of Dungeon Lane Macathon, but not the full start to end like I sometimes do that takes forever. I didn't have time for that. So I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna mimic my journey with Paul. So I started out as a Paul McCartney fan, really from the release of All the Best in '87. That was my proper introduction to him. So that's what I started probably about 10 days ago. I did All the Best. And then that led me into Flowers in the Dirt at the time. So I then did Flowers in the Dirt and onwards. I didn't get a chance to do every album. I had to miss a couple out. But it was when it got to Flaming Pie and it suddenly dawned on me listening to it that, hang on a second, there's quite a lot going on here that feels like the start of what's making it into his songs these days. Even if it's just a guitar tone, it feels like that was the start of it. I mean, it could even be down to something as simple as, did he get some certain equipment in his studio at home when that album was recorded and he's had it since? It could be something as daft as that. Um, we're going to come on to this. We're going to come on to this top four soon. I've just seen a question I do want to answer here. Um, Nick Fail. It is Fail and not Fall, isn't it? Yeah, the dot's quite very close to the bottom, but yeah, Nick Fail. What's your top three gigs you've ever been to? Let me just make sure I get this right. That's number one. That's number two. Three, four, and five are tricky. Um, I'm going to tell you my top five. Sorry, because three, four, and five are a little bit interchangeable. Um, so I'm going to do top five if that's okay. Number five, Bridlington, which is my hometown. That's where I grew up. At the Spa Royal Hall, about just over 3 years ago this week. Hulp. It was their first gig for about 11 years. I was right up at the front, and it was amazing. So that's probably number five. Number four, think I'm going to go for Oasis last year at Heaton Park in Manchester. Just very, very emotional. Again, was right up at the front. Well, I was probably we counted. I was with my daughter, and we counted about 10 people between us and the front, and we were pretty central. We were right in there. That was amazing. Number three, Paul McCartney at the Co-op Arena 18 months ago. Awesome, fantastic. Number two, I'm going to go with Kate Bush back in 2014. The when she did Ariel and Hounds of Love, astonishing. Number one will always be for me 1993, August 1993, Roundhay Park, Leeds, Zoo TV, U2. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, Anyway, should we get round to this semi-final? Let's just clarify who's playing who. I said that the top-rated song, which is Days We Left Behind, was going to play the fourth-rated song, which is Home to Us. So I'm going to do you a poll soon, which is going to be Days We Left Behind versus Home to Us, the two songs that were released first of all. And then we're going to have As You Lie There versus Mama Gets By. Okay. So we'll start with that. Well, the number one song in the ranking was "Days We Left Behind," so we'll leave that to the second semi-final. So I'm going to set you up a poll for "As You Lie There" versus "Mama Gets By," and you're voting for which is your favourite. Okay, which one of these do you want to put in the final? Is it going to be "Mama Gets By" or is it going to be what's the other one? As You Lie There. Okay, you should have that through by now. Soon, or very soon anyway. You're voting to put one of these songs into the final. Which is your favourite? Okay, out of these two songs. The opening song, As You Lie There, all about Jasmine, who, fantastic. We've been learning about Jasmine tonight. We've learned from the chat from her nephew that she's alive and well, and she's been interviewed for a newspaper. I'm not going to say the name again. I'm not going to say the name of the newspaper. So I look forward to trying to read that without giving them any advertising money. Yes, Gary, it was you, wasn't it? Yeah. How's this poll going anyway? It's close. Ooh, it's close. Interesting. So at the moment, I don't know why, but on my screen I can only see one of the items. I think it shows me the top rated one. So Mama Gets By at the moment as 53% of the vote. As You Lie There, I can't see, but I presume has got about 47. Mama Gets By is up to Mama Gets By is up to 55%. Heartbreaking, says A. Hoffner. Mama Gets By and As You Lie There are my two favourite songs. Well, you can console yourself with the fact that it means that one of them is guaranteed to get in the final. You're guaranteed a finalist. Let's look on the bright side. If this goes to penalties, don't let Gabrielle take it. It was better than Eze's penalty, wasn't it? That was an absolute outrage. This silly, stupid little bally dance and stutter and pause. I really hope no England player does that in the World Cup. Just get up there and hit it. At least if you just get up and smash it, if you don't score, you don't look like an idiot. Anyway, that's not really relevant to this poll, is it? But there you go. Mama Gets By is on 57% at the moment. I'm going to end this poll soon. Um, sorry, Gareth. Sorry, I hope you're recovering. I'd have liked to have seen them win. There's one or two English clubs that I probably wouldn't have cheered on, but yeah. Speaking of World Cups, Andrew, early predictions. What do you mean for this World Cup or for the actual World Cup? No, this is the actual World Cup, isn't it? Early predictions. I think England will do what England always do. I think they'll beat the teams that they're supposed to beat, and then one of the big boys will come and knock us out. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope we can do it. I'd love to see England win the World Cup. I really would. Okay, I'm ending the poll. Paul Wheatley says, have you watched all of the interviews Paul has given for his new album? The one I haven't seen yet is the one with Zane Lowe. I'll try and get to watch that over the next day or so. Haven't seen that yet. I think I've seen all the others that I'm aware of. So how's this finished? It's finished with Mama Gets By has got 56% of the votes and is your first finalist. It's in the final. Mama Gets By. But who's it going to play against? It's going to play against either Days We Left Behind, which got the highest number of top 4 votes, or it's going to be the duet with Ringo, Home to Us. So I'm going to set you up a poll for our second semi-final. So again, you're going to vote for which song do you want to put in the final? Yeah. Which of these is the one that you want to see in the final? Okay, here's your poll. Days We Left Behind or Home to Us, the Ringo duet. Okay, let's see. Let's have a look. Jim, great album vocally, but live vocally needs to cease. Sadly, we all have to be honest. Sadly, I think. Look, we all know what you mean. We all understand what you mean here. What I'll say is from my relatively recent time seeing him, just 18 months ago. I think when you're there and in that arena or that stadium, it sounds really good. I think the problems come when those occasions when it gets if it's if it's somebody's recorded it on the phone and you're listening, it's not going to sound great. If it's one of these things that occasionally gets televised, once it's sort of sanitized through and coming through your little speakers at home, it's not going to sound great. But I think in the actual venue, I still think it sounds a lot better. This is like Greece playing Germany, is it? Okay. Poll for whether it's too early to decide on 4 favourite tracks. I might ask that question actually. Um, yeah, just a pity John didn't get a chance to broaden his music catalogue. Absolutely. Imagine him and Paul going toe to toe. There might have been a Paul and John duet on this album. It's very sad. Very sad. Elijah says, what would your dream gig, i.e. venue and band be? Oasis at Celtic Park couldn't be any better for me. Fantastic. Dream venue and band. Um, if Oasis announced Nebworth for next year, that'd be up there, I think. It's a shame it wasn't this year. I'd have loved it if there'd have been a 30th. I'd have loved it if they'd have been at Nebworth on the 30th anniversary of the day that I saw them in 1996 there. I'd have definitely tried to get to that. Um, I don't know. Let me have a think about that one. I'm not sure. Junk Studios. Charlene Spiteri collaborates on the album. Is she the same one from the group Texas? Yes, she is. Absolutely. The very same. The interview with Paul Pascal, Paul Mescal, yeah, it was really good in the cafe. I like that little look that Paul does back to the cafe at the end, where it looks like it's set in the 50s or whatever. That was good. Dream gig though, venue and band. I don't know. Do you know what? To be honest, a week or so ago, seeing the Lemon Twigs in such a small venue that I saw them in at the Broodnell Club in Leeds. Seeing a band that good in a venue that small, McCartney at the Cavern. I think that's got to be up there, hasn't it? And there's been rumours that he might be doing that very shortly. I don't know. We'll see. How's this poll going anyway? I'm sorry, I'm not even been looking at this poll. Oh my goodness, we have a winner, don't we? Thought it would be closer than this. I did think it would be closer than this. At the moment, Days We Left Behind's got 71% of the vote. Craig, yeah, Chicken Shop interview is really good, and I like the fact that it's the first time I've seen one of her videos. She's not afraid to. She's not afraid to sort of. She wasn't really fawning to him that much, was she? You know, she sort of stood up to. She stood up to him a little bit, which was good. Uh, Gig Kate Bush from the early '80s, the venue my house. Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Yeah. I'm going to end the poll, folks. Doesn't mean I'm ending the live stream. Rumour in Liverpool he will play the Jacaranda. That would be cool. I mean, when was the last time he played the Jacaranda? Must be 65, 6, 7 years ago. Um, we have a winner, folks. We can officially declare that your favourite, well, not necessarily your personally, but you as a collective, your favourite song from the Boys of Dungeon Lane is Days We Left Behind with 71% of the vote. I thought the final might be a little closer than that. Um, but well done to Home to Us for getting to the final. Um, yeah, very good. Okay, I'm not ending the live stream yet. Let's keep these comments coming and let's have a bit more. Let's have a bit more fun, shall we? I'm in no mad rush. Um, Daniel says, "Did I watch the Michael Jackson film? Any thoughts?" I haven't yet. I did mean to go and see it. It's just never quite happened. I probably will. I may even get to see it at the cinema while it's still there potentially. Um, I mean, partly what put me off was the awful reviews for it. When the trailers first came out, I was looking at it thinking, "Oh, this looks amazing." Um, so I would like to go and see it. It's a shame they've, let's say, airbrushed his story a little bit. But what do you expect when it's the family really who've made the film? It's probably always going to be. Oh, sorry. Yes, everybody. Yes, this is how my brain turns to mush. That wasn't the final. That was the semi-final. Okay. Yes. Yes. Of course. That was the semi-final. I'm an idiot. Days Days We Left Behind is into the final. Yeah, okay. Where it is going to face Mama Gets By. Do you know what? There was a little bit of my brain thinking, "Oh, we got to the end a bit quicker than I was expecting there." I apologise, everybody. Right, okay. We have a final. So forget what I said about collectively your favourite song. We don't know that. Might be the case, but our final is going to be Mama Gets By, the last song on which is the last song on the album, versus Days Were Left Behind, which was the first song released from the album. I apologise. It's live, folks. It's live. There's no editing it out here and pretending it never happened. Brandon, hello. Dungeon Lane is Paul's best since Flaming Pie. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Um, Tyrone says there's been fabulous reviews for Michael Jackson. It's a brilliant film. Okay, they must be different reviews to the ones I've seen because I saw a lot of really, really bad reviews. I do want to get to see it. Back to the Guinness Hero. Yeah, is it this Murphy's? Is it? Is it? It's not that strong, and it's only my first one. Have I gone bright red? Am I embarrassed? Um, me, Anthony. Oh, sorry if you have already answered this. I don't think I have. But do you think this is Macca's last album? From Mark in Wales. Um, I've been saying it since Egypt Station. I was convinced Egypt Station was going to be his last, judging by the 78 clues that were on there, suggesting it might be. And I didn't get those vibes from McCartney 3. That never to me felt like a last album. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Is it going to be? Is it going to be his last album? If I had to bet, I'd say no. But if it is, it's very fitting. Um, best lyric in any song. I would say my favourite lyric is from, and I know he didn't wrote, I know he didn't write this, but um, Glenn Campbell, Wichita Lineman, and I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. That's probably my favourite. Yeah, I'm not normally a lyrics person. I'm not normally bothered about lyrics, but there's one or two you can't deny, and that's probably my. We are having another more live streams. A, yeah, B, yeah, C, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, yes, Claire, I'm sure that is my first one tonight. Anyway, right, should we do the final? Even though I thought we'd done it and I just got completely muddled up. I'm going to get the final ready for you. So this is the final. I'm I'm confident of that. I'm confident this is the final. So it's Mama Gets By, which is the last song on the album, and you might have heard me talking a few minutes ago about that theory that's doing the rounds about that song, about what it's about, and is it about Linda and those early days in Scotland. So it's Mama Gets By versus Days We Left Behind, the first song that was released from the album. So you should be able to see the poll now. This is the final. You're voting for which you want to win. Which are you voting to be the song that wins this whole thing? So Barrett says two roads now iconic forever: Abbey Road and Dungeon Lane. Last Beatles recording, maybe last McCartney recording. Interesting. Um, yeah, there's another thing on Mama Gets By in the lyric where I noticed that he sings quite often, "She loves him," and it just sort of made me think of, is that a follow on to? I know they obviously didn't start with "She Loves You." It was, they'd had a few hits already, but it's their first absolute monster smash, wasn't it? "She Loves You." Is he going to end with "She Loves Him"? I don't know. Oh, this is close. This is close. It's currently 52-48. We've seen that score before, haven't we? 51-49 now. 52% of you, 51, 52, it's flicking between the two, are voting for Days We Left Behind. Oh, it's now gone 50-50. Oh, this is so exciting. I love it. I love a final. Have we ever had a final that's ended 50-50? I don't know. But what I'm going to declare now, I'm not ending it yet. If this finishes, oh, I don't want to do this. If this finishes 50-50, do I get the casting vote? Interesting. Interesting. Paul Wheatley says the combination of Glenn Campbell's interpretation and Jimmy Webb, of course, Jimmy Webb, that was the name that I was trying to pretend I hadn't forgotten. And Jimmy Webb's songwriting is spectacular. It's comfortably in my top 10 best songs of all time list. Comfortably. Um, yeah. RT8 has got a split opinion here. Days, better lyrics. Mama, better music. Um, Interesting. Yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. This is closer than Breck. Well, I'm not, I'm not getting into that, even though I probably did by saying 52-48, didn't I? If it's a draw, give it to the Frog Chorus. We are voting the Frog Chorus as the best song on Boys of Dungeon Lane. That would be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? Because this is so close, I'm going to let it run for another minute or so because I really want everybody to have a chance to vote. Um, yeah, do we get a second referendum on this? Um, I'd say, yeah, if it finishes 50-50, I'm going to have the casting vote. It doesn't look like it's going to finish 50-50 at the moment. Jim says, where does Hey Jude stand in my top Beatles songs? It's one of those where you can have two lists, can't you? You can have what do you think are the best songs and what are your favourite songs? And they're not always the same. I think in terms of what are the best songs the Beatles did, it's got to be right up there in the top few. Stunning. Is it one of my favourites? Well, I very rarely listen to it these days. Very rarely listen to because What am I going to gain? I don't. I've listened to it so many times, so it's probably not one of my favourites at the moment, but it's one of the best. So it's difficult. Still 52-48 here. Interesting. Um, BB Sonny, is that? As You Lie There, Come Inside, and Mama Gets By are the best tracks on the album. They were your top three. I hope you were around earlier on to vote for them. Um, yeah, it's good that you're all now listing your favourite songs. Excellent from the album. Keep it coming. Um, the frog chorus was how I first heard Paul as a kid. I loved it. Didn't even know he was a Beatle. Interesting. Yeah, I was a bit like that with the first Paul McCartney song I remember being in the charts at the time and being number one was Pipes of Peace. And I was only really, really vaguely aware that he's one of those guys who's on those Beatles albums that my mum and dad have got. I was sort of vaguely aware that he was one of them, but that was about it. Andrew, what goes to the cup final every year but never gets used? Is it like let's say for example this year? What was it this year? Who even was it this year? Man City Chelsea was it? I think. Is it like a congratulations Chelsea banner that they've got for if they win but they don't, so they chuck it in the bin? I don't know. Um, favorite Noel Gallagher solo career song? Interesting. Probably something like AKA What a Life would be right up there. Yeah, maybe. Right. Oh, it's 51-49 now. This is so close. I'm gonna give it a little bit longer. I want to make sure everybody's had a chance to vote. If you haven't voted yet, why haven't you voted yet? Come on. This is last chance. I'm not gonna let this run much longer. Um, the losers ribbons. Okay, it's sort of in the same. I was nearly right, wasn't I? I was thinking more of a banner, but yeah, okay. The losers ribbons. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Um, Everybody's on the run. Yeah, that's a great Noel song. That whole first album was great. I'm ending the poll. I'm going to give this a countdown because I don't want to. I don't want to end it deliberately when I can see what the result is. I want to end it when I get to zero in my countdown, which won't exactly sync because of the way this works. But 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. End the poll. How's it finished? Okay. It's a 52-48. We've heard that before. So, I'll just repeat what I said quarter of an hour ago when I messed it all up. Collectively, you have voted Days We Left Behind as your favourite song from The Boys of Dungeon Lane, with 52% of the vote. Second place, Mama Gets By, 48%. Yeah, Mama Gets By is a great song. What would I have voted for there is a question that nobody's asked, but I'm going to think about the answer anyway. Oh, actually, yes. Sorry, Nick has asked. Now tell us what you would have voted. Um, so it's more legitimate for me to answer this now. What would I have voted out of those two? It's a tough one. It really is a tough one. Um, I think for right, Days We Left Behind was up here because it had been because I've listened to it so much over the last month or so. It was right up here. Mama Gets By has had to come from a standing start, but what's happening is Mama Gets By is doing that. And it's probably about there at the moment, and I don't think it's ended yet. So I think it's going to go like that. I think I probably would have voted for Mama Gets By, but I'm very, very happy with the two songs that got to the final. I'm really happy that Days We Left Behind played against Mama Gets By in the final. I think you did well there, folks, picking those two songs for the final. Um, It's a fix. Your countdown should have been longer. It's because of that delay. I promise you that I hit end poll at the same time as I said zero. It's just that you saw the poll ended immediately, but you didn't see me say zero until probably 20 seconds later. But there you go. Um, in an Austrian presidential election in 2016, it was 50.0 to 50.0 between a right wing and a left wing. Wow, interesting. I wonder how that resolved itself. Interesting. Andrew, am I going to give Paul the final results? I'll give him a call now. Paul, yeah, Sticko, how are you doing? You all right? Yeah, I know it was a great night, wasn't it? Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, just let you know, days we left behind has won the poll. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Cheers. Oh yeah, yeah. We'll have that beer. Yeah, whenever. I've told him. Um, so we need a recount. Well, sorry, Claire, we can't have a recount. It was conclusive, 52-48. Um, if you get to interview Paul, what questions would you most want to ask him? I think sort of a little bit. It's a bit of a follow-on to a question that was asked earlier about, about what would happen between him and Pete Best. I would like to say to Paul, you're in a restaurant. Imagine you're in a restaurant, Paul, and the table next to you is reserved. The person comes and sits at their reserved table, and it's Pete Best. What happens next? That's a question I'd love to hear him answer. I'd like to hear Pete answer it as well. Um, Ricardo, As You Lie There is the highest rated song on the rating websites. Interesting. It finished, I think, did it beat, I think it beat Home to Us, didn't it? Yeah, I think. I can't remember what happened in the other semi final now, but yeah, so it's definitely top four amongst yourselves. Anyway, John Barleycorn must die. I was at HMV in Liverpool yesterday and they had a sign in the window for the Boys of Williamson Square, the location of the store. Excellent. That's fun. Did they have anything special inside for Dungeon Lane? Do you know? How does it hold up against his other albums? Says Pult Pulterg. Sorry, I can't. Pultergrige. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. How does it hold up? Well, everybody, what do you think? Um, as I said a few minutes ago, I think I'm placing it probably just in the top half, I think, at the moment of my McCartney album rankings. Um, oh, Ricardo, the left one won in the end, the one in the Austrian election, right? Okay. I bet that was tense for people on every side. Um, John says Paul released the two best songs for singles. He knew what he was doing. That'd be Home to Us then, yeah. Home to Us and Days Were Left Behind. Interesting. Um, Jim says, were you allowed photography inside Studio 2 at any time when you visited? No. We had to give our phones up. So they gave us, interestingly, they gave us these envelopes, um, like sort of thin plastic envelopes with a sealable flap that we had to put our phones in and hand our phones over, and we'd get them back at the end. They gave us a raffle ticket. I got number 16 for my raffle ticket, and then I had envelope number 16. You couldn't. Everybody's phones were too big for the thing to blooming seal. The organisation of the event was strange in some ways, but yeah, we had to hand our phones over. There was no way we could take any photos inside, unfortunately, but understandably. Richard says, "Where will the album chart in the UK and the US?" Well, UK, I think it's nailed on number one. I don't know when they announce it. I presume it will take it when it's next announced. It will take into account all the pre-orders and then maybe the sales up to a certain day. I don't know how it works really, but US, I would hope he gets a number one as well. I mean, he's obviously had UK and US number ones in recent years. If I remember rightly, was Egypt Station US number one and McCartney 3 UK number one? I think it was that way around. I could be wrong, but I think he might get both with this. Um, What song would you have chosen as the third single? So yeah, "Come Inside" you mentioned in there would be a good choice. A good. I've just got the list here. That would be a good choice, I think. Good upbeat song. It's probably "As You Lie There" might have been one that he might have thought about. I think probably "As You Lie There" is a good shout as well. So one of those two, I think. Um, yeah, Ricardo, Egypt Station wasn't number one in the UK, but it was in the US. And then I think McCartney 3 definitely was in the UK. I don't know whether it did in the US as well. Mama Gets By is one of Paul's best songs, says Brian. It's certainly done well in this poll. Didn't quite do well enough to win overall, but it is a great song. Um, Gary's coming up with some great info for us today, as well as being nephew of Jasmine, subject of song number one, is telling us number one will be announced Friday, but there are charts out tomorrow that is going to give a good indication. I presume you're talking about the UK there. Unfortunately, the album won't have any legs, unlike Ram that's got three legs. Yeah, it'll get probably number one first week, and then it will. Hopefully, he's got some plan. He seems to have a great marketing team at the moment who know what they're doing. Hopefully, if they think that they've got a number one album in the bag, hopefully they've then got some promotion to capitalize on that to maybe give it a bit of longevity in the charts. But you would imagine it's probably gonna slip heavily in the second week, I would think. Um, Stephen Meadows says, "Do you ever go back and reread the comments on these live streams?" I do, because I know that I've missed so much, and I always miss so much on these live streams. So it's generally the day after. Um, I will go back through it and I will reread everything. Obviously, it's too late for me to reply to them or talk about them on the stream then, but I do always go back and read everything. Um, Hey Larry, Canadian Stud Muffin, how are you doing? I've only played the album twice so far, but I loved it on the very first listen. Excellent, good. I've not been on YouTube much this weekend, so I haven't seen whether you've had a chance to do a video on the subject yet. Um, Gary, what is, I think you've asked this question before and I didn't get around to answering it. What is that yellow and blue box set to your left? Is it anything to do with Yellow Submarine? I assume you mean this one. And that's actually the second comment I've had this week saying from people, somebody saying, is that to do with Yellow Submarine? It isn't. Should we get this out? There's a bit of a clue with what's around it. Paul McCartney Archive Collection Series. Right, there's no hole in my t-shirt under the armpit. This is, let's get it the right way around. It's heavy. Wings 1971 to 73. The Archive Collection box set that's got Wildlife, Red Rose Speedway, and the Wings Over Europe. It's the absolute highlight of the Archive Collection, without a doubt. It's fantastic. Um, just be great if, despite what I was saying about Back to the Egg earlier, wouldn't it be great if there was one announced for London Town and Back to the Egg with a Wings 1979 equivalent in it? Love that. Right. What else have we got? Where can I buy the Yellow Submarine socks Paul wears? I can't answer that. Sock shop, maybe? I love his Beatles socks. There's those. There's the Help socks that he was wearing at Abbey Road. And then was it Chicken Shop? He wasn't wearing any socks at all. I'm not a fan of the no socks look. Time to re-release Wings Over Europe. I would agree with that on one condition. If, and I hate saying this, if the archive collection really has finished, and I hope it hasn't, if it really has finished, then yeah, get it out there. But if they are planning to do something for London Town Back to the Egg with a similar thing, this is looking at it from their point of view, from a marketing point of view. They need that demand there. They need there to be a demand for a box like that. And the best way for them to have that demand is if people still think the only way I'm going to get that Wings 1979 is to buy that. rather than them thinking, well, they've re-released Wings Over Europe, I'll just hang on until they do the same with this. That's not helping the sales of that box set. So if they've got any notions of putting out a London Town Back to the similar box set, then I think from their point of view, which is often not the same as our point of view, I think it would be a mistake for them to do it. For the fans, it would be great. Yeah, it would be great if more people got a chance to do that. Yeah, the archive collection was a Hear Music thing. It um, certainly originated around that time, didn't it? But then Flaming Pie certainly was after he left Hear Music. But was there a contractual obligation? I don't know. I mean, they've already, Scott Roger, his manager, said originally that they have plans to do maybe about 10 archive collections, and I think there's already been about 13, is it? 1, 2, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah. So they've already done 3 more than what Scott Rogers said they were going to do. So I just don't know. But it's almost 6 years now. I think it was July 2020, if I remember rightly, when Flaming Pie came out, since the last one. It's a shame. It's a shame. Station Minute, your pre-orders still aren't here. That's not very good. I didn't hear the album until the listening party yesterday. I liked it a lot, but too soon for a final opinion. Yeah, you can't have a final opinion after one listen, definitely. I hope your pre-orders get here soon. As I've said, I've got one more pre-order to come. Maybe tomorrow, but I think the tracking suggests more like Tuesday. I'll probably do a quick video showing it when it arrives because it should be a lovely looking one. This is a good question, Matt Parker. Where can I find Daytime, Nighttime Suffering on vinyl? Well, it was the B side of. What was it the B side of? Was it Good Night Tonight? Or was it one of the songs that's on Back to the Egg? Somebody will tell me. I've failed there to answer that question, but I guess it's probably just on that. In fact, I've got my McCartney 7-inch singles box up there. It's probably I could get that down. Shall I get that down? Tell me if you want me to get my singles box down, and we'll have a little look through it, shall we? And see which one it was the B side to. Terry says, "Am I going to see Metallica in July?" Nah, it's not of interest to me. I've never been a Metallica fan. I could probably name one song of theirs. I think. Did they have a song called Nothing Else Matters? I think they did. Other than that, I couldn't even name a Metallica song. I apologise. Yes, B-side of Good Night Tonight. I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. Um, find the vinyl of Wingspan, says Craig. Well, I certainly haven't got it. It's one of them where I just like a lot of people, I wasn't collecting vinyl back then, and since I have been again, it's just not really out there, is it? At a reasonable price. Yes, it was Good Night Tonight. Thank you, everybody. Um, what are your particular B-side picks of Macca's? You love Summer of '59. That's a good one. That would have fitted really well, don't you think, on this new album, Summer of '59? Would have been a really good song on The Boys of Dungeon Lane. My favourite B-sides of Paul's, I would say, Oh Woman, Oh Why has to be right up near the very top, if not the top. I mean, obviously in the 70s, he released some singles where it was like both were songs off the album, so I'm not really counting those. Things that are just a B-side. Um, Flying to My Home, that's a good one from the sort of Flowers in the Dirt era. Back on My Feet, similar era just before it. That's a great one. There's that one from was it on one of the versions of Fine Line, Growing Up, Falling Down? I really like it. That was the first time Paul really used this old man voice. I really like that song as well. Terry says, as regard to gig ticket prices, what's my limit? It depends what it is. So I think I know the most I've ever paid for a gig ticket is I managed to get the Oasis tickets for last year for £148 each. That's the most I've ever paid. I, I would pay more than that for the right. thing. If I thought if it was something, I'm not quite sure what that thing would be. I'm sure there must be something that I would. I think if somebody off, if I suddenly got the chance to go and see Kate Bush again, I think I'd pay more for that. Big boys bickering, says Stephen. I bet nobody else has said big boys bickering. Um, Paul says I was finally able to listen to the album on your main system tonight. My absolute favourite track is We Too. Rums me and remind me of Jeff Lynne. Interesting. It's very much like what I was saying several minutes ago about how we all have completely different favourites. It's probably my least favourite song on the album, but I love that somebody else is listening to that and thinking that it's their absolute favourite. We all hear it differently, don't we? Um, yeah. Lots of good B-sides been mentioned by everybody. James, you paid £400 for Paul last time. I can't remember what I paid. Oh, actually, did I pay £180? I might have paid £180 for my Paul McCartney ticket last time. Now that I think about it, that might be the most I've paid. It might be that, actually. Yeah, growing up, falling down, says NNNNN, and then lots of letters. Gareth, Andrew, do I like the Beach Boys? I love the Beach Boys. Um, it sounds one of the greatest albums of all time. I believe that. Um, it's awesome. I think other favourite Beach Boys albums are probably Surf's Up. I really love that album. Sunflower's great. That kind of era. Um, I love some of the really old cheesy singles that they did as well, like the really cheesy singles. Um, there was, yeah, there's some great stuff. Brian was a genius. Um, Ricardo's come up with an interesting point. The inner sleeve should have been the cover. Beautiful, would have been a classic. So yeah, I guess what you're talking about here is here's my green variant. Should should that have been the cover? Maybe, or the other side of it that's got. Oh, it's interesting. I've only just noticed there we've got um, in the centre we've got George pretty prominent there, and he's very prominent in the centre of that as well as is John. Um, I like that photo of Paul as well. That's a good one. Um, the reason I would like the gatefold, I think, actually, I have a question for you. For anybody who's got the gatefold version of the album, when you open the gatefold up, are these the two images that you see inside the gatefold? I don't know the answer to that. I would like to know. Or is it different collages? If that is what you see, do you also have these as the inner sleeve? So in effect, does your inner sleeve match what's inside the gatefold? So that's a question for anybody who's got the gatefold because I don't know the answer to that, and I would like to know the answer to that. I'll put this back on. Never put things back in. I'll do that on my time, not yours. Um, Matt says, by the way, no art card with the blue vinyl, bit gutted. Yeah, I think it seems to have been a bit hit and miss. So my black vinyl doesn't have one. My green does. You're saying the blue one doesn't. I've heard people. My CD does have a card inside. I've heard other people saying their CD doesn't have. So, but I think that was that a CD with the um, where all this black here is more sort of a cream. So it's more just you see the embossedness of it. Is that a word? Have I just made up a word? Embossedness. So has anybody been able to answer this gatefold question for me yet? Oh, what's this? What's this? Before I get to that, Burnsy Baby, 1987. Hi, Andrew. We're in the same cinema watching the Lennon and Yoko 1972 performance, not last month. Well, it's very easy for me to know where you were sat then because there was only, I think, 5 of us in the cinema. There was 2 gents to my left, just behind me. I suspect if we've spoken before, I suspect you're one of those. And there was a couple of people behind me who I haven't spoken to yet. I'm guessing you were just to the left of me and behind. Anyway, what was the point of your comment? What next for Beatles at the cinema? Concert for George recut? That'd be interesting. or the Peter Jackson White Album film. I'd be surprised if that got a cinema release, if it happens at all. What's next Beatles wise at the cinema? Don't know. It's been good lately, hasn't it? The last couple of years with Man on the Run, One Hand Clapping, the Lennon Yoko one-to-one concert, and then the one-to-one film last year. Not quite sure what would be next. Maybe could it be George Live 1974 or Concert for Bangladesh? Maybe. Um, Andrew Handley has the gatefold but hasn't opened it yet, so can't answer my question. Get it opened. Go on, go and get it opened. It's no use to you sealed. Um, oh, here we go. Gary says, yeah, the gatefold is the main images from my inner sleeve. Thank you for confirming that. I maybe don't need it as much as I thought then, because I've already got those pictures, haven't I? Interesting. Um, Dan147 Danny, you would have bought the gatefold if it was announced earlier. Already got the black and the exclusive red HMV vinyl. That leads me on to a point that I mentioned in a very ham-fisted way. I don't think I explained myself very clearly in my review video. So I sort of said, because I got the green and the black vinyl, as well as the one that I'm not telling you that's coming soon, would I have chosen those two if every variant had been announced up front? So, if McCartney had said, here's 15 variants or however many it is, here's all 15, choose which ones you want, I probably wouldn't have picked those two. And I just wonder whether, for their own data, for their own sort of knowledge of what people like the best, all they really know at the moment is at what point people have pulled the trigger. If they're assuming that what I really wanted was the black and the green, they're probably mistaken. So if they'd have laid them all out at the start and said, here you go, I would have probably chosen, I might still have chosen the three, but I might have chosen three different ones. That would give them a better idea of what people actually want. And in future, for a McCartney release or for any other artist release, do you know what? We found out when we did Dungeon Lane, we laid them all out up front. These were the clear winners that people actually wanted. And maybe they get a better idea of what people actually want rather than when we hit the buy button because we think, oh, I've got to get this one. That's just my thoughts on it. Oh, what's this, Paul? You visited your mum at the weekend. She's not a McCartney fan, but ironically, she did get his autograph in 1963 after a gig in Weston-super-Mare. She preferred Jerry and the Pacemakers. Fantastic. My dad went to see the Beatles in probably about 1963. I don't know if my dad's watching tonight. He knows I'm doing this. Hello, Dad, if you are watching. He went to see the Beatles in Scarborough in about 1963. And it was too loud, too many girls screaming. I don't think he particularly enjoyed the experience. Um, yeah, she preferred Jerry and the Pacemakers. Interesting. Um, what else? Oh, here's a good question from Craig. Doesn't it's not to me. It's to the audience. Has anybody got their Macaranda vinyl yet? I've heard a lot of people saying that they've not even had a shipping notification for it yet, so I don't know what's going on there. What colours would I have gone for if I could have chosen, says Joe, leading on from my earlier point. Um, I haven't actually got as far as thinking like that. I would have definitely, I think, ordered the Blood Records transparent with blue splatters. I would definitely have ordered that one. I would probably have ordered the gatefold. In fact, I would have ordered the gatefold. Probably don't need to now. Um, I might have ordered a red one. I do like the green one, um, but I might have preferred a red one. So I'd probably gone Blood Records transparent blue splatter, the gatefold black, and a red vinyl. I think is probably what I'd have chosen. Um, yeah, and that's almost not what I've got. So they don't really know what I as a customer want from this release. They just know when I hit the button. Um, Looks like Amazon UK is out of stock of the CD. Wonder if that will harm sales. Well, it can't help them, can it? And that's silly, really, because um, I've been wondering for a few days now, why have they not done anything with the Abbey Road event that I went to? It was all properly professionally filmed. It was very well studio lit and properly filmed and recorded from several angles. Why had they not really done anything with it yet? You'd have thought I was expecting it to be a big part of the promotion leading up to the album. I think now, from what I understand, that Amazon Music, I think it's going to be something that's on Amazon Music. From what I can gather, audio only. So what happened at that event, if you don't know, Paul talked about each song, maybe a bit about how he wrote it, how he recorded it, what it was about, that kind of thing. And then we listened to the song. And then he'd talk about the next song. And then we'd listen to the song. I think what Amazon Music have done is put all those talking parts together um, so that you can listen to them. But I can only see it's audio only at the moment. Did it not film very well? I don't know. So I'm a bit confused about what they're doing with that. Scat, you saw the Lemon Twigs the other week. They are so good. That's how I have to say it. I don't say they're so good. They are so good. If anybody gets to see that the Lemon Twigs are performing near you, they are incredible as a live band. Such good songs, and they are absolutely my favourite band around at the moment. Isn't the Abbey Road event available on Amazon Live? Says Mike Child. Maybe. I think all I've seen is that there might be some audio version. Maybe you can watch it. I'm not sure. I don't know whether you have to subscribe to Amazon Music, which I used to do, but I'm not subscribed at the moment. I need to probably look into it. It's probably worth me if it is there to watch. I think because I was there, I'll probably subscribe to Amazon Music for a month so that I can get it. Um, so I need to really figure out what's going on with that. Um, oh God, yeah, Paula, we haven't even talked about this at all. Um, oh, I'll come on to Paula. I'll come on to that before I do. I just want to the comment above it from Ian Black. The third man pressing has RKS Sterling in the dead wax. Is that the case for all pressings? It's certainly the two that I've got, the black and the green, which were from the Paul McCartney official store. Yes, they have sterling pressed into the dead wax because I checked that for my friend Michael, who was harassing me earlier about my Bob Dylan rankings. I checked that for him because he asked me the question yesterday, I think it was. Anyway, Paula, preparing to lose my mind when we are allowed on that rooftop. Yes, we haven't talked about this yet. I'll need a ton of tissues. I really hope the health and safety is better than it was in January 1969. I'm sure it will be. Excuse me. A little tickle there in the throat. Are we all going to go to Savile Row and go inside the Apple building and do all 7 floors and go up on the roof? I'm presuming that they will have big perspex around the edge, a bit like if you go up the Empire State Building or the Rockefeller Center, and no, is it Empire State Building? I think that's got the big perspex all around, so that you can get up to the edge and look out, but you can't get over it. Are they going to do something like that? Maybe. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting, isn't it? That they're doing this. They're going to build some. I have faith in them that it's not just going to be a Beatles museum. There's going to be something about it that's never been done before. I'm confident of that. The Beatles don't just do things that have been done before, do they? Even now, even when they do something now, it's got to have an angle that hasn't been done before. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm also intrigued to know what's this second thing, because the announcement, buried away in the announcement, was something about that there's a second attraction being worked on as well. It didn't give any clue as to what it is. So yeah, bedtime never. I think Paul's story about seeing the skylark rise up at Dungeon Lane adds deeper meaning to the days we left behind. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a lovely little lyric, is that? Does anyone know if there's an Atmos mix for Dungeon Lane? Yes, there is. I haven't heard it. I don't have the capability to play Atmos mixes, but from what I understand, yes, there is an Atmos mix. Um, Gary Dobbs, you're going to have some beans on toast now. Thank you. Thank you for letting us all know that Jasmine, the subject of As You Lie There, is alive and well, and she's his auntie. Fantastic. Um, Interesting. Read an article today that the neighbours of Savile Row are objecting to the plans because of noise and disturbance. Just like they would have done in January '69 if they'd had any advance notice of that rooftop gig. Um, hmm. Something similar to the Avatar concept, says Mike, possibly, but I wouldn't. Again, I think they would have to do something different, wouldn't they? Could it be like a Through the Ages? Is it that you actually? Is it that we're going to get to go up on the rooftop and see the Beatles do the rooftop gig? That'd be impressive, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, you just wouldn't be able to get many people up there at a time. Um, so it'd be a big. You'd need a big turnaround of people to get everybody up there. So maybe it's not practical to do that, but it'd be great if they did, wouldn't it? Um, yeah, Apple Atmos Mix available on Apple Music. Thank you, Andrew, for saying that. Tell you what, folks, I'm going to wrap this up in at 10 p.m. We'll have been here 2 hours. That's enough. It's enough for anybody. I've had great fun over the last couple of hours, but we've got about 3 minutes left. So get your last comments in. I'll try and answer what I can. I'll try and stick to quick answers. Thank you, everybody, for no sound. No sound. I hope that's not me. Um, Red Special, have I missed something? What was the blackbird emoji referring to on Paul's social media leading up to the release? I think it was just generally to do with him, the fact that Dungeon Lane was the area where he used to go bird watching. So he was doing lots of bird clues to lead up to the announcement of Dungeon Lane and why that's been chosen. Hi Graham, how are you doing on Dungeon Lane? The inner sleeve has Neil Aspinall on it, but no Mal Evans. Why not? I, I don't know. Hadn't realised that. It's a good observation. I don't know. That's a shame. Is he there and we've not spotted him? I don't know. Um, Wish we'd have the full rooftop gig just focusing on the band. Maybe one day. Maybe we'll get that. We still need a proper release of the vinyl of the rooftop gig, don't we? Um, Thank you, Matthew McGuinness. Missed my present. Thanks again. See you soon. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Look, we've got a couple of minutes left, so let's have last comments through. We'll get through what we can. Um, Thank you, everybody, for your thank yous. Do you think there'll be a drum kit, microphones, and guitars, etc., on the rooftop? Um, yeah, that's a good point. I think maybe that's what the no sound comments was. That have been coming through. Is that relating to? Yeah, of course they can't just blast the rooftop gig. Maybe you do wear headphones and watch the rooftop gig on. But it's that turnaround of people. I think is the issue. You're not going to get many people up there. Would everybody get to see it? Does that Murphy? Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It looks like a flat Coca-Cola now. It's fine. Thank you, everybody. They should do what the building around Wrigley Field do and put bleachers on the rooftops of the surrounding buildings for a rooftop show. Yeah, I'm sure hopefully they'll think of something. Um, where will the new Apple CEO take us next audio wise? Um, I don't know. Hopefully we will find out this year. Hopefully he's got great ideas. I think they brought him in because he's somebody who knows the modern market well. Um, they've not brought him in to do nothing with the catalogue, have they? So let's see. Greatest concert film of all time, Beatles Rooftop. Yeah, absolutely, it's fantastic. Anyway, folks, it's almost 10 o'clock now. I want to say thank you very much to everybody who's joined in. It's been a very enjoyable couple of hours. As a reminder, you crowned Days We Left Behind as the winner of the favourite song on the Boys of Dungeon Lane, which is a really fun album. Really been enjoying it, and it sounds like a lot of you are too. So thank you very much. I'll try and get back to doing these more regularly. That is my promise to you that I will try and do that more. I'll try and do these more regularly. But yeah, I'll speak to you very soon. I'm going to try and figure out what button now ends this stream. I might get the wrong one, I might get the right one, but cheers everybody. Thank you.